Hello again, Bob Forche, Supply Chain Pro to Know, and today we are here talking about the fourth installment of the video series on S&OP, assessing S&OP maturity. And we've got 13 different points to talk about, so we are just now getting into the next section here where we're looking at process. And in this video installment, we're going to talk about planning horizon and timeline. So the thing to focus on here is to ask a few key questions. Are we thinking operationally or strategically? Are we forward facing as opposed to backward facing? We don't want to find that in this meetings we are talking about why didn't we ship an order on time yesterday. That's backward facing. It's looking at what did we do, and that's not doing planning at this point. We need to make sure that we keep this discussion high level and strategic and tactical. So we want to be forward facing so that we are addressing the strategic initiatives that are important to the organization. And so we are focusing on the right outcomes in our decision making. So forward facing becomes the marching order. We want to align around the next budget cycle, so we are aligning on our initiatives, our projects, any changes we might have, or product launches, so we can be focused on matching up the alignment of our strategies with our execution, because we're going to be measuring our performance along the way. Internal drivers like SWOT analysis are going to be inputs to the S&OP, but we're also looking at the more near term in terms of balanced scorecard, and are we getting the traction that we really want based on the decision making? And some things have a much longer lead time, so the planning horizon has to be much further out. If we're only looking backward, then we're focused on firefighting. We're not able to be proactive. We're not driving the needed reactions that we need to have positioned to go around the gaps and risks that we've identified. Rather than looking backward, we want to be forward facing. We need to focus heavily on balancing supply and demand and working across the functional silos so that we can assure we're not going to drive excess costs or be out of balance, and that we are able to encapsulate any plans around risk management that are maybe strategic or in some ways really important for catching opportunities. Part of the horizon is long term. Is the building big enough? Is the factory big enough? Is my supplier large enough? Do we have the right positioning in place with long-term commodities, things that are really long lead time, for example? Are there any capacity changes that might be required? And do we need to look at labor in terms of increasing or decreasing the labor as an asset that we want to leverage? Part of the conversation is more mid and short term in terms of, do we need to think about outsourcing or maybe add a shift or maybe do some overtime or undertime to make adjustments on the short term. So again, the final result here is a single plan of record that we all see very specific actions and responsibilities for, so it becomes very transparent and very accountable. Everybody on the management team understands together what the objectives are and what the plan is to achieve those objectives for the next 30, 60, 90 days out to maybe 18 months. So that's the planning horizon in a nutshell. And when we come back, we'll talk about the next step in our process, the fifth element of our 13. So hopefully you got some value out of this, and thank you for your time. We'll see you again soon.